Hey, it's Dr. Kate Walker. Welcome to the 2023 Group Practice Summit. This is our very first one, and you're watching a pre-recorded segment. So this is Ana Marcela Rodriguez, and she is the owner of therapyworkscounseling.com. And I'm looking to my left at her URL because I just shared with her that I have URL envy. I mean, what an amazing name for her practice. What an amazing URL. It's so incredibly Google friendly and searchable. So, but that's not all she does. She has a group practice, which is of course why we invited her, but also she has a niche that she's going to talk with us about today. Please make sure you stay tuned to the very end of this recording because we will have links to make sure that you are able to access her consulting services as well. So she's not just a clinician, she's not just a practice owner, she has her consultation gig going too. So Ana, welcome, and I can't wait to hear what you have to show us and tell us today.
Thank you so much for having me. This is an awesome opportunity, and I hope I can teach you a little bit about myself, about what I have done, and that together we can learn much more.
Excellent. Now, there are questions that I'm going to bring up at the end. Obviously, since this is pre-recorded, we can't do the live Q&A, but I grabbed some questions out of Texas counselors creating badass businesses. So if you posted a question in there, I will bring it into our discussion today. So Ana, I will turn it over to you. You can screen share to your delight and just tell us all the things.
Okay, perfect. So first of all, should I start telling kind of like my story?
Yes.
Perfect. So I was born and raised in Mexico, and I studied psychology there. I practiced there as well. And then I came to the US 12 years ago. And I encountered some obstacles whenever I came here because I wanted to continue practicing. I had to study again a master's. So I did that in SMU, master's in counseling. Then I went to the LMFT track, and I started on my own as a solo practitioner. I subleased small place from some wonderful clinicians that allowed me to do so. And I was very intentional when I started thinking that I wanted to do something for my community, for people that are like me, right? That are immigrants, that their native language is not English. So I started my marketing in Spanish, actually, because I wanted to target those people. And slowly but surely, I started attracting clients that spoke Spanish, and then others that did not speak Spanish, but that they were Hispanic, first generation, second generations, and so on. And as time progressed, I started to fill all my spots. So I was very busy doing one-on-one sessions. At the same time, I started doing some speaking engagements, usually at church and things like that. And I started volunteering a lot of my time doing that. And because of that, I started to have more people come to me. And I think it was kind of like 1 year later is when I hired my first clinician.
Wow, that's fast.
Yes, another Hispanic clinician that is fully bilingual. And then it was her and me, I think for about 8 months or probably 1 year. And at that time, I was still subleasing. I was subleasing like an office. So it was she and I, her name is Nancy. She's still with me, and I'm so happy that she's one of our rock star clinicians. And this was in, so I started in 2017, in August of 2017. Then Nancy came along in 2018. And by the end of 2019, I hired 2 more clinicians. We relocate, have our own place in Frisco, Texas. And then fast forward to now, we have now 6 locations, and there's a lot of us.
That's
and
amazing.
yeah, so we grew a lot during COVID. I think during COVID we saw that the need was there, and we wanted to help, and that was our boost.
That's tremendous. And so many people ask, I think, how do you know what your niche is? And you describe it perfectly. I mean, this is how you built your website, and then the people come and you're like, oh, this is my niche, right? So the fact that you have 6 locations, so where are your other 5 locations? You're in Frisco and just Frisco, or are you all over the Metroplex?
We are all over the Metroplex, in the Dallas and Fort Worth area. So all over those, all over the Metroplex we have located. Yes.
That's wonderful. And about how many therapists do you have total?
We're around 25.
Oh my gosh, that is wonderful.
Yes.
And okay, so how many, and you're a marriage and family therapist, so I'm going to say, how many families do you think you guys help? I don't know, per year. I mean, with that sort of force, I mean, that is a force that you have there. How many families do you think you're helping every year?
Well, we made that count, and last year we did, I think, like 10,000 sessions.
Wow.
Yeah. So and I think we serve around 2,000 families.
That's incredible. Yes. That is incredible. Congratulations. That's amazing.
So much. And it's just, we're very grateful for our community that it hasn't been such a smooth journey, but it has been a great one. Just talking about mental health and having the opportunity to do so with our community, that sometimes it's very hard for us to open up and to ask for help. And we have seen that it has that change has been made. It is a journey, and I think we still have to do a lot of work, but people are more open to it. They bring their children, they come in for themselves or to help their marriage or their families. So we have seen that change. And also other, for example, church authorities or priests or pastors, they are much more open to mental health, and they can see how that is very helpful for everyone, for the Hispanic community, and specifically right now that we're talking about us. And so their support has also been great for our growth.
Wonderful. So you bring up a couple of struggles along your way. So the acceptance, or I guess I should say the stigma of getting help, and then the clergy, having their support. So talk a little bit about those 2 pain points on your journey that you guys had to address.
Yeah, well, first, the stigma, right? So we are usually a community that try to solve our problems on our own and in closed doors. We have a saying that states that that you do your you do not air your dairy laundry, right? So we try to do that. And I think nowadays, because of the talks and all the invitations that we have to diverse platforms like churches, or I have done talks in different industries, in organizations, in nonprofits, and people are more open to it. But it has been hard. We still have those struggles sometimes where people do not want to be think of as someone that is crazy, for example, because I go to a therapist, because I go to counseling. So changing that has been one of my personal missions, telling everyone like going to therapy should be as normal as going to the doctor, as going to the gym, as doing whatever things you do for your self-care and for your well-being. I also talk a lot about me going to therapy. I'm very open about my journey in therapy, about my counselor that I loved. So being very open about those topics. Social media has helped us to have that platform to talk about diverse topics. And usually all of our social media, our webpage is in Spanish. You can translate it, but the first thing that it will pop up is in Spanish, because we wanted to have that, because that was something that when I came here and I was looking for my own counselor, I did not find. So that's how that was brought up. And then with the clergy, having a lot of one-on-one conversations with them, like making meetings with them, telling them what mental health is, what mental health is not, how can we be together and bring our expertise together, them from their spiritual knowledge and us from the mental health knowledge, and bring the well-being to the community. And we have done, and I do a lot of things in different churches. We have usually talks before we do workshops and things like that, because they also want to be very mindful of like what they are bringing to their people, right? So it's just us being open and flexible with them.
Okay, so I'm hearing a few things then. You've got the talks that you take into the community. You have the very intentional website design, which, we talk about that a lot. For you to think, okay, how do I develop a niche? You had to think, okay, my ideal client will see this when they look at my website. So you kind of designed it for you 5 years ago or 10 years ago, right? Who are you looking and trying to find somebody?
Yes. And actually, whenever we were designing our webpage, one of the things that I talked to with the person that designed our webpage is like, I want videos. I want like things that are interactive. I want people to get a sneak peek of who we are, of the therapies that they will have in the room. So all of our profiles, there's a video of each clinician, and they talk a little bit about their areas of expertise, of why therapy is important, and a little bit about themselves, so people can grasp a little bit about them.
Okay, so right then you're telling me that messaging creates an emotional connection. You want that emotional connection with your audience.
Yes, and more so, I think in our community, we are very emotional. We are very, we need that. One of the other things that we are very mindful about is about the people that we have answering the phone calls. When people make
Tell us about that. Yeah, that's important.
Yes, when people make these first, sometimes very scary phone call to make their first appointment, because a lot of our clients, I will say probably like 80%, this is the first time that they go to therapy. So they do not know what therapy is about, and they're scared about. So we're very mindful about the people that we hire and how we train them when they answer the call. And these calls, sometimes it's like 50 15 to 20 minutes.
Mhm.
And they are trained to de-escalate the person, to tell them all the information, answer all their questions, be very patient. So we take our time with them to make sure that their first exposure to the therapy world is a good one.
And you're teaching me something right now, because, I like to talk about the 10-minute consultation, and here's how you do it. And here's how you move them to the space where they can finally make the appointment. That is not your audience. Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, that's what you're hearing. That's not our audience. Our audience needs, it's very specifically to each one of them. So we don't have a specific script. It's more like literally, and this is something that I tell my team, like, we need to talk from the heart. What does this person needs in this moment? And how can we send them the message that making an appointment with us is a good option, that we care about their well-being, and that we want to help.
Okay, so I'm hearing caring, I'm hearing safety, I'm hearing trust. Those sound like some core values that are really important. I mean, they're important to all of us, but it sounds like you're really prioritizing those for these new clients that you're helping to introduce to your practice.
Exactly. Yes, that's one of our goals, and so we take that very seriously. We want the people that contact us to feel that, and even if at the end we are not the right fit or we cannot help, that they feel that they are well cared.
And that's going to help still, I guess. I mean, this is what I teach this, and what I'm hearing. This is going to also help you become that word of mouth referral, right? Even if you're not a good fit, they're going to tell their community about you.
Yes, exactly. And yeah, I think for marketing purpose, it's also a very good strategy.
Okay, so let's go back to messaging for a second, because, I want to dive deeper, because I know these are the questions people ask. I get people, they'll say, okay, I want to start public speaking. I want to get out in the community. And most of the folks who have done this for a while say, yeah, you're going to do it for free for at first. It's really to introduce your community to you. And so in this niche marketing for this Hispanic, I'm literally reading our title, for the Hispanic community, creating a niche that serves a minority. I want to know the titles of your speaking programs, right? I mean, because if you're telling me that, folks there's a stigma, this is the first time they've ever been to therapy, they don't necessarily trust the process, like the process. I mean, how do you title something for, I don't know, let's say, the PTO or the parent group at the school, so that people will come? I mean, like, what's a typical, I mean, here's what I'm really asking. Do you title it something to get people in the door and then kind of slip them the mental health message, or do you just put it out there?
It depends, but usually, since most of the talks that I give are in Spanish, for example, one very, very popular one is anxiety and depression. For anxiety and depression in the youth, I just have it in Spanish, and then the subtitle is what do you need to know, and some tools. That's a very popular one. I have another very popular one that is don't be toxic, like create healthy relationships. So topics also that are very catchy, that people, I don't know, I think topics that sometimes have words like toxic and things like that, I think people will be like, what is this about? At grasp the attention of the audience. We have also a lot of topics about parenting, like how to be a better parent for teenagers.
Mhm.
And then this is the development of the brain, their physical development, and their mental health. That's another one that is very popular.
So those sound like, for the schools, right? So what about for the church? Is it the same, or do you gear it a little bit differently with workshops?
Yes, this and usually it's to whom it is targeted. So we do, or I do, I have done talks that are for the youth. So I make the talk that is for the youth, and sometimes it's the same topic, for example, anxiety and depression, but it's for adults, or it's for the people in the church, or it's for an organization, it is for a company. The same material, same subject, it's just that I tailor it to the people that I will be speaking to.
And how did you land on those topics, those very popular topics?
Well, I think this one of anxiety and depression, it was something that I went to a church and I was talking to the administration and the clergy, and I was like, what do you need? What is the need of these of your people? And they told me, I think they are suffering a lot from anxiety and depression. And I'm like, okay, I'll do a talk about anxiety and depression, the symptoms, the causes, and some tools that can help.
So going and interviewing was very key to your messaging.
Very, very key. And I started with that. Now I think I have around 15 different talks.
Yeah.
And also now I have 1 year that I have been doing a lot of trainings for other mental health professionals. So we have expanded that niche of talks, conferences, and now it's also trainings.
So is this for your own therapists, for your group, or you're talking, this is another branch of your business, of your consultation?
No, another branch. In March, I was a keynote speaker for TMFT, which is the Texas Association for Marriage and Family Therapies. We also did it for the Adolescent Symposium. I make this training for them. And so in big platforms, train other mental health professionals in how to counsel the Hispanic community.
Wow. Okay. So this is now your group practice. Now this is your other stream of income here, the consultation. So I want to bring you back to your practice for a second, because here's another question I get asked a lot. You've got these other therapists that you're bringing on, and I think everybody sort of wants this culture of excellence in their practice, right? And they feel an obligation to make sure that their therapists are getting lots and lots of clients. So whatever that means. So how do you train, and I'm using that word on purpose, how do you train your therapists to message themselves, to put themselves out there so that they're getting their ideal client, and it still maintains the culture that you're trying to maintain at your practice? Does that make sense?
Yes. So we made very mindful and conscious profiles of each one of them that we have in their webpage, very specifically to what their specific niche they have. One of the things that I tell people whenever a marketing therapy works is that we are a Hispanic group practice. We are all fully bilingual, and that's the commonality that we all have. Other than that, we're very different because we have different areas of expertise. For example, I do not see children. I do not counsel children, but we have clinicians that's their niche. We have clinicians that are trained in trauma-informed care, EMDR, in Gottman, in a
Mhm.
lot of different areas. So each clinician has their expertise, and we market them. In our social media, we have spotlights for each one of them. They do, for each month, we talk about a different topic of mental health. And if it's a topic that they are well versed, they will do a lot of videos or reels or stories about them. We have also other clinicians that are also very good speakers. So we engage them and hook them into speaking engagement things and things like that. So people will start recognizing them, and it's not only me.
And you had to train them, though. I mean, I'm assuming they didn't just come and kind of know how to do all this, right?
Yeah, well, we have a very robust onboarding process.
Talk about that. I want to hear that.
Yes, so we have a clinical director. We have a leadership team. Let me go back to that. We have a very good leadership team. We have a clinical director, we have a business manager, and we have marketing and publicity area as well. That's kind of my leadership team as in for now. In the onboarding process, we have the clinical director and the business manager, and also the marketing girl, train them on how we do things, how we work, what we need, and each one of them will tell them the expectations, right? And will train them in that specific area. For example, the clinical director will train them and do everything that is clinical, and then the business manager in a lot of like customer service, because that's something that we do not learn in school, and we have to have excellent customer service. So our clients not only come to our door but stay. And then the marketing, to how can we market ourselves? How can we sell our product? How can we sell our counseling services?
Okay, so let's go there, because really, I know people will be coming to this summit. They're group practice curious. They are maybe on that cusp where they're like, oh, okay, I've got a waiting list. I've got to bring somebody on. And, the key questions about, how do I hire W-2, 1099? I mean, sometimes that decision is impacted by the culture of the practice. Will this sort of dilute my message? Like if I'm a holistic counselor, if I bring in other people, are they going to be holistic? If I bring, so how do you make sure that your practice, actually, let me flip that. Give me how you would tell a new counselor, or not a new counselor, somebody who is about to make the decision to be focused on a niche based on a minority. What advice would you give them? What are some steps you would give them?
To a minority group practice owner?
Well, it's creating a niche that serves a minority, right? So let's say they want to serve an underserved community, or they want to serve a minority community. I mean, where do you start? How do you do that?
Well, it depends, right? If it's only you, even though you're serving a minority, you still need to have a niche within that.
I'm so glad you said that. Yes.
It's like us, and what I was telling you just a bit ago. The commonality that we have is that we are all Hispanic and that we're all bilingual. Other than that, we're very different. When I started and it was just me, yes, I served the Hispanic community, and yes, I did, and my native language is Spanish, but I still did not see kids. Not because I speak Spanish, I can go ahead and counsel kids. I don't have those skill sets. My skill sets are couples, trauma, and a lot of women issues. That's my area of expertise. The same way with our clinicians, not just because they speak Spanish and they are from the same country as the client, they are a good fit. And that's why I think Therapy Works has been so successful, because it's not that one of us can take care of every Hispanic person. That's why we are so many of us, and that our background is very different, and that our trainings are very different. And we try our best to fit them and to pair them with the best clinicians for their specific needs. Oh, I think I lost your.
Oh, I'm back. Yeah,
Yeah.
I've got this cough, so I'm trying to like mute every time I cough and I forget to come back. All right, so I'm going to say it back to you then. When you're, if I'm thinking, okay, I'm ready to grow, I want to make sure that my niche is serving a minority community. The first thing is to understand, and I'm going to go back to something you said earlier. Your website design is going to say first, hey, here's who we serve.
Yeah.
But to understand, there are sub niches within that. Like, this is not just black and white, vanilla chocolate, summer, spring, whatever. I mean, this is very multi-layered.
Yes, it is very multi-layered. And I think that's the way it should be, to cater best to the client that we have in front.
So could we take a look at your website, and then you kind of highlight some specific things that you do to message? Would that be okay with you?
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. Do you want me to screen share, or you want to?
Yeah, if you can screen share, that will be fantastic.
You got it.
I think one of the most important things talking about web pages is, one is, I'm not the expert in web pages. Like, that's not my area. That's why I have someone that does that. And the other thing is that it is always changing.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a living thing. It's always changing. We change things, we put things, we take out things.
So you have to have access to your back office.
Yes, correct.
All right. So the first thing I want everybody to see is that I do have it in English. So I'm going to pop it over to Spanish, because this is how you build it.
Yes. So the first thing that pops there is a taking action, right? It's like, join our group, join our web,
Mm-hmm.
join, and just leave your name and your email. And that's the way we have subscribers. And for all the subscribers, we send an email usually once a week or once every other week. We do not want to onboard people, but we want them to remember us, right? To remind them that we are here.
So you send them just little things maybe that you're covering for that month, or is this just, okay?
We send events that we are going to host or participate in. We send the most popular posts that we have done in social media about the topic that we are talking in that month. We also blog. So we also send the blog of that month or that week.
Okay. So we get here, and I'm going to put it back into English just because my Spanish is very rusty. So if that's okay, take us.
For sure.
Thank you. So where would you like us to look next?
You can go scroll down.
Okay.
I think our homepage, I'm very
this is
proud
beautiful.
Of page. So this is myself, and then Diana, which is the clinical director. And then if you click info, you will have the specific info of each one of us. So there you
There's
go.
the video.
Talking about that, some of information about Diana.
And let's go back to you.
Yeah.
So
Go to me, and then mine is, it's a little bit different because in mine it has also my story as the founder, and it's also a video, and then there are links throughout there about things that I have done, places that I have presented. I'm a guest expert in TV networks, so it's also very important and very powerful. And so
excellent.
we have also a whole segment about that.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. And then if somebody clicks here.
Yes. It will take you to, I think, WhatsApp or something, and you can chat and put your information, and then they will contact you.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. Where would you like me to click next? Oh, there's all the things. That is so cool.
Yes. There's all the places that we have partnerships with, have speaking engagements, that have used our services, that we have collaborations. Yes.
Excellent. Okay. Now where?
You can go back and again to home. And I really like the part underneath our profiles where it says find a therapist near you, and then we have our locations. If
Excellent.
you in each of those locations, you will see the clinicians that practice in that location.
Which one do you want me to click?
You can click the one in Dallas if you want.
Okay.
If you click the one in Dallas, then you will see the clinicians that are in Dallas. And it's the same format. I think it's very friendly, user-friendly, the webpage. Like you just click and start looking.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. If you go back to home, you can also just scroll down after like the find therapist near you. Then you will see all the services that we provide.
Excellent.
Yeah.
That's wonderful. So if I click couple therapy.
Yes. Click it again. Probably did not.
I know it may not be loading on mine. So I'm going to go this way.
Yeah, you can put there couples therapy. And,
wow.
It show you information. We also have an intensive program for couples therapy that our clinician Ingrid will provides. It gives you a little bit of information about what's couples therapy. What are the problems, time and duration, how do I access an appointment, and then.
So these are all the questions that you know already that people have, and you're just addressing them right here.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah. We did our webpage with that in mind of like, how can a person that has never gone to therapy can navigate this web? How can we answer their question? How can we make it very easily for them to access information?
Okay, where else should I click?
You can go to events, where it says events, and then you can put it will take you to, I think it's just a little bit up there. No, a little bit more.
Up. There we go.
Our events. And then we have a one that says upcoming and past events.
What website, what host do you use, by the way?
Well, we use Wix, but we will be transferring to something else.
I hear a lot of people say that. I don't know about Wix. Nobody's from Wix has contacted me, so I don't know. But I hear a lot of people, Wix is good to a point. But then
Yes.
they want to switch to something else.
Yes, we are in that point. Well,
Well, it's beautiful.
Yes. So
Oh,
the
wow.
right now, like yesterday, I did a program with Univision, so that's why right now this one is there.
Excellent. Oh, and you just got your appointment right there. That's wonderful.
Yeah,
Excellent.
we have a all in action in all of that. Then you can, if you go to blog, you can see the blogs that we have. We have a lot of we have some of them in English actually, but we have a lot of blogs.
And it's from your different therapists. So
yes,
it's featuring the different therapists.
Yes.
Is that a requirement? Do you make your therapist do this?
We ask them to please collaborate. One thing a month. They can blog, they can send a video, whatever their comfort zone is in, and so the ones that like to write, they do, and the ones that like to record themselves, they do that.
And do you ever have one of your therapists just say, no, I'm not doing anything? I'm sorry, I'm putting you on the spot, but I got to know.
Yes, we have some of them that are like, no, I'm more shy, but I mean, we just encourage them. It's like, it's something short, like the videos are usually 1 minute or 2 minutes long. And I mean,
once these are so cool.
Do that, they usually will do it.
Excellent. All right, I'm going to stop the share.
Yes.
And I want to give you some of the questions that we got from Texas counselors creating badass businesses. And let me scroll. First comment was, how do I sign up for this? So that's good. She's like, wait a minute, where is this? And so I think I have stuff everywhere. And then I'm like, no, there's somebody who doesn't know. So yes, first thing was, here's the link to join. So let me, okay. So one of the badasses wants to know, what are the best, and then parentheses, from a culturally sensitive perspective, questions that non-Hispanic clinicians can ask their Hispanic clients to learn more about their specific values and norms?
I think being very direct about it and just ask them, like, what are, I don't know, if they come up with a specific problem, to ask them, in your culture, how is this usually handled? How usually your family will handle this? How usually in your country things are handled? And we are very open about sharing that.
And the next question is very similar. And I may need to click. Okay, there, I see it all. How can or should the counselor and client take into account cultural considerations when defining healthy boundaries for the client? For example, expectations of adult children's time and money commitments to their family/extended family of origin, especially as it relates to the collectivism versus individualism spectrum in cultures.
I think that's an excellent question, and something that I think we, as a clinician, we have to be very flexible in how we see what is healthy and unhealthy. I don't think there's a clear cut for that. As a Hispanic, and specifically about, for example, failure to launch, or the financial thing when you're an adult, how things are handled I'm from Mexico, so in Mexico are very different. And that doesn't mean that we are not mature enough, or that we, I don't know, we do not have healthy boundaries. It's just that familiarism is a very strong concept in our country. So actually, the healthier the family is, the more that the adult will live with their parents, for example. That's very common. So to understand that about the person that you're counseling is crucial for their own benefit.
So I'm going to take that then, because I'm a supervisor trainer, I'm going to take that to, if you're a supervisor and you're having to train this in your new associate, right? Because I'm sure you're going to be a supervisor someday, right?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So how would you teach someone, like if you're hiring someone and they want to train with you, how would you teach that?
I will tell them, okay, let's check the history of this family. Why do you think this adult is having problems of individualization? Just because they are still living with their parents? Just because their parents are still helping them with some financial needs? If the answer is yes, I will question that. Not because that can be a cultural thing. That not necessarily is an unhealthy or dysfunctional system. So we
Excellent.
need to, yeah, I think just go beyond that.
Yeah. And I think that's what, I mean, this conversation, to me, what's striking me is that phrase, going beyond, going beyond, going beyond. You know, so if you're a counselor and you're listening to this or watching this and you're thinking, okay, I want to serve my community and this is my community and I'm going to create a practice around that niche. And then what, right? It's like that improv. Yes. And right. We got to do, what else are we going to do here? Because it's just not about that one little tiny slice, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Just dig deeper, ask the question, be very curious. And that's, I'm not anymore in charge of the interns. I don't supervise the interns anymore, but at some point I did that. So I had interns and I was their supervisor. And that's something that I tried to get them to ask the question. Do not be afraid of asking the questions. If you ask them like kindly, people are very open and they are there because they need your help.
Yeah.
And how will you help them if you do not understand? And if you don't understand something, ask them, like, I'm confused, like I don't understand this dynamic.
Yeah.
The dynamic from where I am from, it's very different.
Excellent. All right. So what question am I not asking here? What do you get asked, or what are some just final thoughts that you would give a therapist, you know, growing their practice to serve a niche or a minority?
I think just take your time to have clarity on where do you want to go. And things can change over time, and that's okay. They have changed for me. So be very patient with yourself. Growing a business and being a counselor are very different things. Very different things.
You may need to say that a bunch of times and then make a t-shirt and then like some memes, because we got to get that out there.
Yes. Being a business owner and being a clinician are two different things, two different roles. Juggling those hats, it's fun and also complex.
I like how you just put a period at the end of that.
I have a lot of words in mind because sometimes I say complicated, but I'm like, I think complex will make it. Because, you know, it's not easy, but it's also, if that's the path that you want to go, it is fun, it is different, but it has a lot of layers, as we were talking about. You have to be very flexible and learn a lot of things other than counseling.
In addition to, and
practicing requirement.
Yes.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
thank you. And again, folks, you got to know that there will be a resources page where you can get all of Anna's material, links to her consultation, links to her website. You saw her website, so get over there and just look at how she puts things together. And you're good with people not signing up, but contacting you through the resources we provide. And
Yes.
helping out. And I appreciate you so much agreeing to be a presenter for the very first 2023 Group Practice Summit. I have to say it out loud, otherwise I'll forget the name of it. So thank you again so much.
Thank you so much for the space, for the things that you're doing. And I hope to be of help to other adventurous clinicians.
I like that. Adventurous. Yes. Thank you.
Have a good day. Bye-bye.